Hi, everyone, and welcome to Smart AF. I'm your host, Erica Sietsma of Autofluencer, and joining me today is Scott Emalfarb of Fresh Content Society. Welcome, Scott.
Thanks, Erica. I'm so excited to be here.
Excited to have you. So, some of our guests watching may not know who Scott Emalfarb is or who Fresh Content Society is. Why don't you share a little bit about what Fresh Content Society does and why you started it?
What's funny is you don't know who I am if you're watching this as a travesty. But if you don't, a little bit of background. I am a social media marketing professional turned into founder. Started our agency back in 2014. Before that, I worked at another global agency helping launch social media pages for Fortune 500 companies. So I've been in the organic social media space since the beginning of time and have evolved with that time ever since, and still evolving with the time as we're starting to get into the age of AI. Fresh Content Society is an organic social media marketing agency. We work with manufacturing industrial brands in the automotive, construction, and consumer brand space. We are a full service social media marketing agency. So we offer strategy, content creation, social media management, influencer marketing. We also are located in Chicago. We are an award winning agency and we don't do anything else. No website, no SEO. So we help brands build communities, build brand awareness, and bring people throughout the entire business funnel for companies.
When you started Fresh Content Society, I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I do have to toot your horn a little bit. One of your clients was telling me a story about you. It's Brian, and he was saying how in the early days, you came to all the events, you were always there for them. You were on the ground, which, look, in our industry, in automotive, we do see that, happens more often than not. But I think, with your background and all of your clients aren't only automotive, there's some non-auto. So I did want to say that I think it's helpful for the audience that I know is predominantly automotive manufacturers that, you are an enthusiast, you are passionate, you have some awesome team members who come to Media Trade every year, whom I've met that are deeply entrenched, like in Southern California. So I think that is something too, that you guys don't just service the industry, you live it, you breathe it as well.
You know, what's funny is I wasn't a car guy. I wasn't into motorsports. I didn't really understand automotive. And then Peak being our first client here 12 and almost 13 years ago, they threw me on the racetrack. They're like, hey, we sponsored John Force Racing, go to a race. I fell in love with the whole community. And I think that whole automotive scene and motorsports scene is a community of people that are genuine. They are salt of the earth. They are easy to relate to, connect with, speak with. They want to help each other grow. And it's small knit, honestly. And if the automotive community, if you don't really speak the language and you're really not entrenched in the space, then I think that does a disservice to authenticity of helping a brand grow on social. And I do believe that having 10 toes on the ground and being at events and being in manufacturing facilities, watching products get created, being in retail, seeing how products are being positioned and sold next to a customer that's changing their antifreeze coolant or their tires, that gives you the full picture and that gives you the real understanding of what the challenges are. So I think you calling that out was really thoughtful and I appreciate that. And I do believe that there's a huge differentiator between most people and people that really appreciate the industry.
You said it in the beginning, but this is really why I wanted to have you on here, right? The whole concept of Smart AF is helping businesses operate Smart AF and future-proofing our businesses. And things are changing so much. And one thing that I found really cool about you all, and obviously I've seen your work through Peak and through getting to know you all. You guys have stayed true I don't know how many people have read the book Good to Great and the hedgehog concept. You've really stayed true to a social first, social only agency. And myself, having come out of a company that started as a social first, we were social and reputation back in the day. We couldn't hold true. We brought in lead response, we brought in chat, and then we were all the things. We're the jack of all trades. Talk about why you think it's smart for a business to focus with someone and why you've chosen to stay. Because I'm sure people have asked, oh, can you just handle my email marketing? Oh, can you just do my websites? Can you just do this? Why have you all chosen to stay true to your roots of being social first, social only?
When I was working at an agency, social media was at the ground level. I always thought to myself, if you become the expert at the beginning of the trend and don't lose focus of all the other bells and whistles that are out there, we will always be in business, because as long as social media is around and businesses are around today, like those two are like, will go hand in hand at this point. It's so easy to get distracted when you are an expert in a field or an expert in something. Your performance becomes you're better. It's like,
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
relate it to people like, everyone can play a little piano, but not everybody can be Mozart. Everybody can do social media marketing. But I think it's hard to be the Mozart of social media marketing, because you don't really dedicate your time or your life to the space. Dedicating your life and time to the space, that's what allows you to become the expert, by learning and growing and evolving, by figuring out what doesn't work, essentially. So it was always important for me and for Fresh Content Society never to lose that focus and never to lose that effort of being the expert. Because when a company hires you, they expect you to be the expert in what you do. Now, some companies, yeah, they just need the work done. I can't promise you good results. In social media marketing, having the right strategy, plan, and process in place, there's a formula to make it successful. Obviously, it changes as social media evolves, but the formula still remains the same. And so being an expert for us, as long as I'm around, never going to change.
If I'm a manufacturer and I've got someone doing it in-house, is it maybe the time for me to think about partnering? Because I wouldn't call you all in what you do and the level of engagement you have with your partners, I wouldn't call you all outsourcing it, right? It feels
No,
like a
you
true
become your
partnership,
agent.
right? Like, this isn't like, oh, somebody's going to do my social media for $500 a month. Like, it's not that. It's not Upwork, right? At which point, where do you see when people are coming to you? If I'm a manufacturer, I'm a business, I'm like, at what point should I be thinking about bringing on a partner for this? Because a little bit like we were saying, you might have an in-house marketing person, but at the rate at which things evolve and change, they're not going to be an SME in social media, especially if you're asking them to wear 100 different hats, which we see all of the time.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think there's multiple levers to pull, but I think bandwidth is one. I think when there's not enough bandwidth to be able to help support the execution or the strategy, then you'll see social performance fail. A lever of when you would bring in like an agency of someone to really dedicate and invest into a team to support your social is when you are looking to grow the brand and build out those signals into AI search, into Google search, into your For You page, to be able to build the credibility to help amplify your marketing and sales system that's already churning. If that's not the priority of growing the brand to be able to generate signals to drive more traffic and more activity and awareness to the business, then having a one person show that does multiple things is probably okay, because it's not the priority. When it becomes the priority is when you start needing more level of support. So it's not just like, hey, my performance is bad, or hey, I don't know how to track performance on my social or how it's driving impact to the business. Then you also need a partner that knows how to connect those dots too, because a lot of people that are in that position most of the time are more junior level. So they don't have the experience of connecting the business dot to the marketing efforts. And then you also don't have enough resources or expertise to be able to fulfill that strategic gap
Yeah.
in terms of support. So support comes in many different ways, but the best kind of support is you're ready to invest into the brand and you're ready to amplify your marketing engine with social, because it's now becoming a trusted source in search. It's becoming a trusted source with consumers. Like, people go to TikTok to search, how do I change my coolant? How do I do this? Yeah. So
Thinking of kind of the changes there, right? As we were saying, things change all the time. Facebook and Instagram, until just in the last few years, were not previously indexable by search engines.
thank
So
you. Yeah.
individual posts wouldn't come up. So they weren't like, hey, it was great, but like an organic strategy on those platforms wasn't as strong as an ads play, right? Like in my old world, I mean, our clients were car dealers, so they had way less cool stuff to talk about. I mean, look, they had the new car, but Google's now gone full AI responses is the first thing. And it's always citing social, good or bad, right? Some good or bad, but
Yes.
it is a citation source. And I think that's an area where, because of old information, when it wasn't part of the search engines 3, 4 years ago, you didn't put as much effort into that. It was more YouTube. And I hear this all the time of like, oh, we need to go to YouTube because it's searchable. It's the number 2 search engine. I'm like, oh, hopefully that is changing very quickly.
Like this.
It is
Yeah.
changing. Yeah. And so when you think of, you've been obviously with Peak for a long time. Anybody who knows agency world, having a 13-year client is not typical. You do tend to see an agent swings in agencies. You see people turn over at the top levels of the manufacturers or the businesses and they go a different direction and they're cutting costs. How do you show your partners results? Right? How do you quantify those results for them? And does it kind of vary by the engagement and by what their initial goals are?
First of all, yes, yes, and yes. If I look back at when FCS first started, the measurable result was my clients knowing that I'm willing to put in the work and I'm willing to make this work by showing up and being committed to the clause, which is what Brian told you at the whatever conference or the last time we saw
Yeah.
us. So I knew that was my first measurable metric. But from a now standpoint, social has to impact the business. And if social doesn't impact the business, then it's hard for us to show our proof success. If the business is looking for more brand awareness for the amplification of those signals, 3 years ago, you're measuring it by reach and impressions. Today, you can measure social traffic back to your website, social traffic showing up in ChatGPT, in AI searches. There's more business impact today because of that than there ever has been. So the model of reporting is evolving from community metrics, which is video views, impressions, engagement rate, followers are kind of like the core. But that really needs to translate now into more traffic to the website. It needs to push people bottom of the funnel. On your channels, you can measure it by people asking, how do I buy this? Where can I buy that? Can you tell me more about this product? Can you tell me more about that? And that way we're now engaging your customer, which is not just promoting the brand. We're actually, if someone
Right.
walked into your store and said, hey, can you tell me about your OET coolant? Like I got a 1998 Ford Mustang and like, what do you recommend? Instead of someone walking to the store, they can just post on social media and now you're engaging with the customer. So there are so many touch points that social media offers businesses from a measurable standpoint. We package it in a full funnel
Yeah.
ecosystem. Top of the funnel, which is more of the brand awareness, that customer engagement is more of like that retention and more middle funnel. And then people get more bottom of funnel as they go to the website, go to a store locator from social. And then obviously like people like buying and converting if your Google Analytics and your conversion events are set up. But if you sell to distributors, then we're playing in the middle of the funnel and you have to know that's where we're playing. Like that's as far as we can go as a business model.
If someone is thinking about their own social strategy, because it is a strategy, right? It's not just oh, we have to check this box and put stuff on social media. Oh, we just have to do some cute memes because that's what's popular. So we're going to check that off, right? There truly should be, as you were saying, a strategy, right? You all look at, how do we tie this to the business? How do we tie this to the overarching goals? And it's more of an extension than kind of its own standalone. From a Fresh Content Society perspective, you all actually have a really interesting range of how you package and offer solutions to partners. You don't have to come in and, oh, we will only do all these things. You will actually come in and provide, if I recall correctly, like a strategy piece. Like you have your own team. Let us help be the strategy and the glue to teach your team how to do this ongoing. Talk a little bit about how you see and any examples of someone that went from no strategy and they're just kind of doing social to how a strategy made a difference in that business.
If you don't have a strategy, you're posting and praying something is working. Right. Best value that a strategy offers a business is, does this work? Is this working? Are we aligned as a stakeholder group that social media marketing is impacting the business goals? And without that, you're guessing and praying. And so, like, nothing else really matters, essentially, because every business has different stakeholders. Every business has different ability to support execution. Some people have the expertise. And, what's frustrating about social media marketing for businesses is high turnover. There's not a lot of people that want to stay a social media manager at a company for more than 2 or 3 years. The solution really is, why start over when you have Fresh Content Society to be able to not only create the strategy for you, but evolve it as platforms evolve and as the business evolves too. And then you always have an execution partner with us too to be able to help support it. So the best value that we offer people is having a goal and having a
Yeah.
KPI to measure that goal. And then everything else is fluid from how we get there because things change all the time. That's how we help businesses. I mean, so there's growth in between what the goal and KPI is, but also the more important part is we're proving that there's value to the business based on the alignment.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate all the great insight. Any takeaway, anybody listening to this, is it's all about strategy and tying it back to all of these efforts, back to the overall, are you hitting the business goals and is it helping lead you there? And if you guys are spending any time, effort, and energy on social media, on influencer partnerships, on sponsorships, and you're not able to tie those pieces together, you might want to stop and call Scott. You might want to rethink some of that because there's probably some wheels spinning, right? And some kind of lost effort there. So thank you so much, Scott, and look forward to talking more soon.
Thank you.
All right, bye.